Let me ask you something. When was the last time you gave a compliment that made a woman feel something real? Not just, you look nice, not that dress is hot, but something deeper, something that made her stop and look at you differently. Because here's the truth most men miss. Women aren't just moved by what you say. They're moved by how seen they feel when you say it. You don't win her heart by worshiping her beauty. You win it by noticing what others don't. And when you do that, when you make her feel recognized, not just desired, she starts to wonder about you. She starts to feel for you. She starts to fall. The compliments that change the game are never on the surface. They're the ones that touch her soul, the ones that echo in her mind long after you've gone silent. And most men never learn this. They either overdo it with flattery or say nothing at all, afraid of looking weak. But you're here to learn how to speak power into a woman in a way that makes her lean in, not walk away. A man once told a woman, "You're beautiful," and she smiled politely. Another man said, "You have a great body." She thanked him and walked away. But then, one man looked her in the eyes and said, "I love how your mind works." She froze, not because she didn't know what to say, but because for the first time, someone saw past the exterior. When you say this to a woman and mean it, something inside her shifts. You're telling her that her intelligence, her thought process, her inner world is desirable. And let me tell you, that's rare, because most men are so focused on a woman's looks, they never take the time to explore the very thing that actually makes her unique, her thoughts. It's not about pretending to admire her intellect. It's about being present enough to see how she processes life. Maybe it's the way she explains a theory, how she connects ideas, how she overanalyzes situations, or how she dreams big even when life keeps disappointing her. When you notice these mental traits and say something like, "I love how your mind solves problems," or "Your perspective really changed how I think about that," she doesn't just feel attractive, she feels seen. And every woman wants to be seen, not just looked at. This kind of compliment doesn't stroke her ego. It touches her soul. It tells her she's not just here to decorate your life, but to influence it. And when a woman feels like she's mentally stimulating to a man, something beautiful happens. She lets you into the parts of herself she usually hides. Her dreams, her doubts, her weird questions at 2 a.m. The things she's afraid to say in front of others. So don't just compliment her face. Compliment her essence. Say, "I love how your mind works," and say it when she least expects it. Because in that moment, you'll become unforgettable. There's something powerful about a woman who brings light into a room without trying. She doesn't need to be loud. She doesn't need the spotlight. She just is. Her presence shifts the mood. Her smile softens tension. Her energy makes people breathe easier. And yet so few people ever tell her that. That's where you come in. When you say to a woman, you make people around you feel better. You're not just paying a compliment. You're giving her confirmation of something she may not even be sure of herself. You're acknowledging her impact on the world, not through beauty or perfection, but through energy, warmth, and presence. And in today's world, where most women feel unseen, that means everything. This is not the kind of compliment she hears every day. People will say she's pretty, or smart, or funny. But very few people will tell her she's a healer, that her existence softens life for the people she interacts with. Let me tell you something real. Many women carry the emotional weight of their relationships, their families, their workplaces. They try to be strong for everyone. They listen, they check in, they comfort, but no one stops to say, "You change the emotional weather wherever you go." When you say it clearly, honestly, and without an agenda, it hits different. It tells her that her presence matters, that she's not just someone you want to be around, she's someone the world needs. It elevates her from someone I like to someone who inspires calm. And the result? She feels safe with you. She feels proud of herself when she's around you. She associates you with the version of her that feels the most valuable. So when you see her calming her friend down with just a few words, or cheering someone up, or diffusing a tense conversation with a joke, that's your moment. Lean in, smile, and say, "You know what? You really make people feel better just by being you." Because when a woman realizes you notice her impact, she'll start to think about the impact you're having on her. Most people notice when a woman smiles. Few ever stop to notice what it cost her to keep smiling. They don't see the pain she hides behind her eyes, the quiet battles she fights every day, or the way she keeps showing up, even when life keeps breaking her down. That's why when a man looks her in the eye and says, "I admire your strength when you," it doesn't just touch her heart. It shatters her emotional walls. This isn't a random compliment. It's a recognition. You're telling her, "I see the invisible weight you carry, and I respect you for it." So many women have had to become strong because life gave them no other choice. Some had to raise themselves emotionally. Some had to survive heartbreaks that nearly crushed their spirit. Others had to fight to be heard in rooms that never welcomed their voice. And yet, they endure quietly, daily, bravely. When you say, "I admire your strength when you talk about your past," or "I admire how you hold your family together," or "I admire the way you push through even when you're exhausted," you give her something deeply healing. You validate her story. And here's what makes that so rare. Most men want to be admired, but they never think about what it means to admire a woman, especially not for something more than beauty or charm. When you admire her strength, not in a performative, cliche way, but in a quiet, grounded moment, she feels emotionally safe with you. Why? Because admiration is rooted in respect, and respect is the foundation of deep connection. When a woman feels respected, she doesn't just like you, she trusts you. She starts to let you in, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. So pay attention to her strength. The way she holds herself together when she talks about her father, the way she keeps smiling even after a bad day, the way she protects the people she loves even when she's exhausted. Then look her in the eye, no games, no fluff, and say, "I admire your strength when you won't just be another man in her life. You'll be the one who finally understood her." There are some people you talk to and every second of silence feels awkward, like you have to fill the space with noise, or jokes, or some random question to keep things going. And then there are those rare souls, the ones you can sit next to for 10 minutes without saying a word, and somehow it feels like a conversation was just had. That's what this compliment is about. When you tell a woman you make silence feel easy, you are giving her one of the most emotionally grounding compliments a man can offer. You're saying, "With you, I don't need to perform. I don't need to entertain. I can just be." And that is something she rarely. Think about it. Women are constantly expected to be on, to be talkative, expressive, energetic, emotionally available. And often, when they're quiet or still, people assume something's wrong. So when a man sits with her in silence and doesn't ask for more, but actually enjoys it, it tells her something powerful. You're enough, even when you're quiet. This compliment works because it breaks away from the typical flattery. It's not about her body or her charm. It's about the energy she brings, the way her presence feels like peace, not pressure. In a world where everyone is constantly trying to prove something, telling her you make silence feel easy is like handing her a breath of fresh air. And don't just say it when it's convenient. Say it when you're sitting next to her, driving together, or watching the world go by without needing to speak. That's when it means the most. Because what you're really saying is, you feel like home, and here's the real magic. Once a woman feels like she can be silent around you without judgment, she starts to open up in ways no one else has unlocked. She becomes herself, no mask, no filter. So next time you're sitting in peaceful stillness, look at her and say, "You know what I love? How you make silence feel easy." That moment will stay with her, because for the first time, silence wasn't a gap. It was a bond. There's a quiet power in the small things women do. The way she remembers your favorite snack without asking. The way she texts you just before a big meeting. The way she listens when you talk about your childhood and brings it up weeks later just to show she was paying attention. These aren't grand gestures, but they're everything. Most men overlook them. They assume it's just how women are, nurturing, caring, emotionally available. But the truth is, thoughtfulness is a choice. And when you notice those choices, when you say, "You're so thoughtful, I noticed when you did that," you're doing more than complimenting her. You're validating her love language. This hits deep because thoughtfulness is invisible to most people. It doesn't come with applause. It doesn't go viral. It's quiet. It's intentional. And often it's emotionally exhausting, especially when no one acknowledges it. When you do, it tells her, "Your emotional labor matters to me." And for a woman, that can be revolutionary. Say it when she sends a just checking in message after a long day. Say it when she gives you advice that actually helps. Say it when she shows up for your friends or asks about your mom. Don't wait until it's big. Say it when it's small, because that's when it's real. And be specific. You're so thoughtful. I noticed you brought me that tea, even though I didn't ask. Or you remembered I had that deadline today. That meant a lot. The more specific, the more it proves you're paying attention. That's what every woman craves, to be noticed in the quiet. Here's the secret. When you recognize her thoughtful nature, you give her a reason to invest more in you. She'll start to trust you with her softer side. She'll see you as emotionally intelligent, a man who sees beyond the surface. So don't let her efforts blend into the background noise of daily life. Bring them into the light. Look her in the eyes and say, "You're so thoughtful, and I see you." That one sentence, it tells her you're not loving in vain. There's a moment in every emotionally deep connection when a man looks at a woman and realizes she's not just beautiful, she's transformational. Something about her presence, her story, her energy awakens something inside him. Maybe it's ambition, maybe it's hope, maybe it's healing. Whatever it is, it moves him. And when you tell a woman, "You inspire me," you're not just complimenting her, you're elevating her. This is one of the most powerful things you can say to a woman, because it goes beyond desire. It touches something sacred, her purpose. You're saying, "Your existence has made me better." That kind of acknowledgement. It's unforgettable. Let's be real. Women are used to being told they're attractive. They're used to being admired for how they look, not for what they awake. But when a man tells her, "You inspire me to be a better man," or "You make me want to face my fears," or "You reminded me of what I'm capable of," that's a whole new level of connection. And here's why it works. It places her in a position of meaning, not just pleasure. You've made her contribution emotional, not transactional. You've made her a muse, not a moment. But be sincere. Don't throw it around casually. Only say it when something she's done, the way she thinks, speaks, lives, actually shifts your perspective. Maybe it's her discipline, her creativity, her compassion, her spiritual strength. When you name it clearly, with emotion, she will feel it. And more importantly, she'll believe it. Say it like this: "Watching how you handle stress inspired me to stop complaining and take action." Or, "The way you care for your family, it made me want to call my mom. Thank you." These aren't compliments, they're emotional affirmations. And when you give a woman that, you're not just another guy showing interest. You become a man whose presence she respects, because you honor her impact. So when the moment is right, don't be afraid to say it. Look her in the eyes and let the words land. "You inspire me," because when a woman knows she's helped you grow, she'll never forget you.